Okay. So this would be the inlet side. We have our flow restrictor mounted. We're going to go ahead and pop this up here with the clamps. Go ahead and snap that into place. Then we're going to go ahead and put our flex lines on. Now again, these flex lines have rubber seals inside that seat up against both nipples. So you do not need any kind of lube or any kind of tape, thread tape or anything on these. And we'll just go ahead and And again, these don't need much, so we're just going to go ahead and snug them up. And this would also be a good time just to double check, make sure both fittings are nice and hand tight. Again, don't go too hard. You will break that glass. Okay, again, so we do have water currently going through the bypass, not through the UV unit. We're going to go ahead and bring water up and do a kind of a leak check of our system. So you want to go ahead and open this real slow. You don't want to blast it because you can't break that quartz tube in there. So you're going to come up real slow. Go ahead and bring up your pressure. And then this is a good time just to go through, check all your leaks. If you need to snug them up a little more, you can. But basically, by now you should be watertight and ready to go. So at this point in time, we'll go ahead and open the outlet as well. And we'll go ahead and close our bypass. Again, we highly recommend putting this bypass system in. We also recommend having a spare quartz sleeve and a spare tube, because if either one of those breaks, especially the sleeve, if you were to break it, you would have to get one shipped to you, and you wouldn't have any water for the house for other things, you know, if you didn't have the bypass. So we highly recommend that you do a bypass system here. Okay, so once you've got this thing fired up, you can go ahead and plug in your power supply. Okay, so you can hear that power supply right now beeping. That means there's something issue with the bulb. That is what it'll do. The light will turn green. So your power supply unit's here. So the light is red. It's beeping. Means there's something wrong with the bulb. So we're going to go ahead and unplug this. And we're going to go ahead and open up here and see what's going on with our bulb. Alright, so I'm actually going to take advantage of this opportunity because this could very well happen to you as you're installing it as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead, put the system back into bypass mode. We're going to close the inlet valve. And we're going to go ahead and relieve the pressure in the system. So we have a sample valve here that we use. You can also go into the house if you don't have a sample valve, open a bathtub or a utility sink and go ahead and vent the pressure out. Okay, once the pressure is vented out, we'll go ahead and isolate this off, close the sample, we'll go ahead and put it back in a bypass so you still have water to the house now, and we've relieved the pressure here, so we're going to go ahead and investigate what's going on here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and loosen my set screw here, and we're going to pull this plug cord out. Oh, and look, our bulb came unplugged. So that's the problem. Again, what we're going to do now is the bulb is back up in there a little ways. So I'm going to go ahead and pop the other end off here. And go ahead and see if I can push that tube, that bulb back out. So this guy must have came off when I carried it from the bench where I assembled it out. Okay, so here's my tube. And we'll go ahead and plug this guy back in. Okay, we'll slide that back in. Go ahead and retighten our set screw. Go ahead and put the dust cap back in the other end. And tighten that down. Okay, before we bring the water pressure back up, let's go ahead and test it. Okay, you can now see that our power supply has a green light, and it's not making that terrible noise, which means that our bulb is working. So in addition to the green light, I do want to warn you, you don't want to stare at UV. But there's this little dust cap, this little plastic cap on the end. You can pull it back slightly and you can see the UV light in here. So our lamp is now working. Okay, we're going to go ahead and bring our water back up online. Again, we want to do that slowly. Slowly let the inlet out in. And go ahead and the outlet, open the outlet. And again, go ahead and double check. Hand tighten these up a little snugger if you need to, but do not use wrenches on these end fittings here, just hand tight. And that completes the setup of our UV system. Have a good day.